So, hello, good evening, and welcome to everyone that tunes in this evening. We have our Formula Racing League PlayStation 4 Porsche Cup Round 5 at Paul Ricard this evening. We've got just under 4 minutes left of free practice. And looking at some of the laps that some of the guys are putting in, Will Friedman at the top there, we are 58.221. Sees Gamerdad only 1 second off that pace. He's been in, obviously tweaking his setup. He's heading out to see if he can better that, just to see, I would imagine, how he could get his tyres maybe at a better position, get the car at a better setup. But these cars themselves, they are very, very, very unstable, especially around extremely fast cornering. So the best thing we can do is just keep a wee eye on Gamerdad just now. I'm thinking it's Gamerdad, it's not. It's Devil's Son. Oh, so he's heading out to see if he can better his 2 second gap. I'm just going to very quickly make sure. So he's heading out to see if he can better his 2 second gap. Yes, so we do have sound, that's good. Sound check done, and we're all ready to rock. So, normally our late night grids consist of a mixture of different drivers from several different platforms. The PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 platforms. But tonight looks like we have just a couple of PlayStation 5 drivers, and the remainder are PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 massive, as they say. So let's get a look and see who's here. So Will Friedman is in, Gamerdad is in, Butler Racing is in, Linkler is in, the Devil's Son, Hendrix, or Hen 420 Drix, we'll just call him Hendrix, Big Time Dave, C Schiffler and Tro still haven't put laps in. We did have 10 people checking in, but as we always know, there's usually a kind of natural drop off. There's only been one dropped off, which is good, which means we're going to have a 9 car grid. With these cars being like almost exact, just whatever tweaks you make that kind of better your driving style might have that competitive edge that's going to kind of give you the space to maybe pull away. But there's going to be, by the looks of things, some very, very interesting battles. Will Friedman just now, everything he touches turns to gold, so it looks like he's the man to beat tonight. But he himself, if we have a look back on any of his historical broadcasts, if you ever get a chance to go on any of his broadcasts, he used to take part in quite a lot of these Porsche Cup races. I've witnessed it myself. I used to kind of look at his streams a lot, and I've seen him going from like 23rd place up to like top 6 in wet conditions on Hungaroring. So the guy knows what he's doing with this car. Gamerdad himself, who's only 1 second off of Will's pace, he has been putting in a lot of time. Hi Will, how we doing? Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Gamerdad has been putting in a lot of time and effort, like I says. He's been kind of pushing the setup of this car over the last couple of days. It is a shame though that we don't have a full grid tonight, because it would have been really, really nice to see a full grid on Paul Ricard. For me, is probably one of my favourite tracks. I find you can go side by side with a lot of the cars around the track. There's lots and lots of space, and that's
green light, go go go.
And that's us now. Oh, we are now in 10 days without driving on ACC. I feel rusty. Goodness, if you're feeling rusty and you've done a 58 and that's 1 second faster than the closest driver, then I think the guys have got something to fear. But let's have a look. So who's first out on track? Car number 21 in the name of Hendrix is sporting some sort of luminous yellow, black and pink. His car looks slightly wobbly there, going through the tight chicane section. Oh, and he's just lost the back end. That's fine, it's understandable, these things happen. let's go have a look at Gamerdad. And we'll see how he does. He's sporting his usual black, white and pink livery for the Triple X Motorsport team. So let's see what he can do. This is him on his warm-up lap, so he's not on his fast lap yet, but he's definitely going to be the first one to cross the line. So we'll have a look and see what sort of benchmark time he's going to push. And whilst we're doing that, I'm going to also go and have a look at the standings. Now the standings are important, especially when it comes to these late night races. The table itself is very tight. Let's just go onto the website and see. But it's good that we've already had a couple of people in and watching. Comment away, guys, have a chat, ask me any questions, I'm here for that. I normally do this as well on a late night Sunday and a late night Thursday with none other than Woody, or better known as Neil, or better known as Two Beards, One Comms, but it's just one beard, one comms tonight. So, let's have a look at the website. Gamerdad just coming round onto the home straight to start his fast lap. Let's see where he goes. So, down the gears, throws the car into the first corner, round the second corner, exit. Aspect, how are we, sir? Thanks for putting a comment in. It's good to see a new face, kind of getting involved in watching our comms and getting involved in the live chat as well. I'm just quickly going on to the late night standings just to see where we stand. To see who's got what to lose and where and why. So, the Porsche Cup, Taco Thursday, no, don't want that, late night Porsche Cup. Okay. Sunday Porsche. So right now we've got IR Graham sitting at the top on 156 points, with Gamerdad closely following behind, 20 behind to be exact, on 136. We've already had 4 rounds and this is round 5, as you can see. Devil Sun is on 122 points, so that's 34 behind. And then we have RMS Massive on 114 at 42 points behind. So if these guys were present, it would be putting pressure on IR Graham himself, but with IR Graham not being here by the looks of things, it gives Gamerdad, Devil Sun, Big Time Dave, gives them a chance to get up there. So the standings, they're kind of tight at the top. It probably only needs a difference of 1 or 2 races for that to completely change. So we'll watch how that unfolds this evening. I'm just going to make sure I'm watching the live feed, and that way I can keep up to what everyone's saying. So we've got Aspect having a nice comment in there. After making P3 and GT4 during the mixed Sunday race, today I needed to take a break from driving, otherwise I would have joined in. Oh, that's a shame, because the grid itself does have some rapid and fast stacked drivers. But it looks like, let's go and see what time that Gamerdad did then. So he's set a benchmark of 159.427, with Linkler follow behind, 1.3 behind, and then very, very closely follow behind there with Butler Racing, the lad from Oz, 1/10 off, and Big Time Dave kind of trudging in with 4 seconds behind. But we've also got Chris Schiffler, who's just coming into the home stretch now. Is this going to be a fast lap? He has set 1.7 seconds off Gamerdad. We've still got Wilfrieden to leave the pits, but I'm unsure if he's going to. It could be that he wants to have some kind of a challenge. Perhaps if that's his plan tonight, to see if he can challenge himself to run from the back. Not necessarily PC on the FRL community, but See how that pans out. Ideally, everyone putting laps in so that they know their starting position on the grid is kind of what we're looking for, as you know. Oh. So let's see what Hendricks can do in that beautifully coloured car. Let's set a 2 minutes. I think that was perhaps his outlap. Let's kind of go with that. Mm, 2 seconds off the pace. We've got a couple of laps left in the qualifying session. The qualifying session itself only lasts for 10 minutes, guys. So that 10 minutes, you've got to very quickly get out on track to make sure you can get your laps in. The longer you sit in the pits, the longer you lose the opportunity to get out there and set a time. But GamerDad is now being closely followed. He definitely will. I expect the colours on all these cars are just eye-popping. It's in your rear mirror looking at these colours that kind of that's where it kind of adds that wee element of I would say competition, because they're wanting to kind of catch your eye. Maybe make mistakes having a look in the mirror. There's nothing worse. But Linkler's only 2/10 off. GamerDad's setting that benchmark of 58.779, which is quite quick. That was along the kind of region of what Will Friedman did put in. So it's going to be interesting if Will Friedman does set a lap, which he's going to. He's out on track. But Hendricks, let's just see where he is. Car number 13. GamerDad, who seems to have... Oh, he's went out of bounds, so that's not going to be another lap set. Car 21. Oh, he's pushed so hard that he's lost. Obviously, I don't think he's went out of bounds there, but so he's still going to set a time, but it's going to be way off. That's probably a loss of about 8 to 9 seconds there. We've got Will Friedman, who's going up the fast straight now, so he's out. He's warming up his tyres. He's sporting a beautifully shiny gold Porsche Cup car. We've got Tro out on track as well. He's sporting the grassroots livery, so red, black, blue and white. He himself is just coming round second last corner into the last corner now. Is this going to be a flyer? Let's see. I think he managed to keep that in bounds. If this is just an outlap, then he's going to have an opportunity. There he is. So he's set a time of 2.3 seconds off pace, and I think he's just settled for that. So car 61, Big Time Dave, he's improved his time by a second. He's also sporting the grassroots livery, and he's just made a wee tiny mistake exiting turn 1 there, so he's now gave up the ghost. And this is Will Friedman coming over the line to see what he can do, see if he can... This is him going to set a time. So the only two cars left out on track just now are Schiffler and Will Friedman. Let's go and see what Chris is doing. Right, he's just onto the fast stretch at the back. We've currently got 4 in watching. Hello guys, give us a wee like, give us a wee comment, give us any questions you need answered. That's what I'm here for tonight, as well as doing the comms for the late night Porsche Cup round 5 at Paul Ricard. We hold several different races and several through different kind of league setups on FRL, including Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays at anywhere between 8 and 8:30. Our signature league on a Tuesday starts at 8:30, and then the other two, so your Arrive, Drive and Survive on Thursday's GT4 at 8, and our mixed Sunday starts at 8 as well. And then we have our 3 late night sessions. Late night Tuesday, which is a GT3 class, late night Thursday, which is GT4 class, and this, our Porsche Cup on the Sundays. So Chris is just coming into the final corner, and he's pushed so hard he's not going to beat that time. He'll be absolutely devastated with that. So we've now got Will Friedman coming into the last corner. This is his only flying lap, so let's see what he's going to do. He keeps it in bounds, he puts the foot down, and where's he going to end up? He's went second place, giving Gamerdad's efforts the top spot. So well done, Gamerdad, and that rounds off our 10-minute qualifying session with Gamerdad on a 58.779, Will Friedman finishing up row 1, 2 tenths behind, and very, very close behind, that's Linkler and Butler 6 tenths behind, completing row 2. Chris Schiffler and Hendricks in row 3, just showing you that the top 5 drivers are within 1.2 seconds of each other. Tro and Big Time Dave in row 4, and then we've got Divilson who couldn't set a time. So that's our qualifying done. It is going to be a spicy race aspect, thanks for that. It's what it is it's Gamerdad and Will Friedman are extremely competitive. Very, very good at driving pretty much any car they sit in. Linkler and Butler as well, very competitive. They like to get involved in the fray. Linkler's new, he's actually not necessarily been with us for very long, but he's kind of making waves. He's getting in there, he's getting involved in the mix with the guys at the top, so you could possibly say he's definitely within the realms of being an alien, because Gamerdad and Will Friedman definitely are. And then if you look at the kind of gaggle that's possibly going to form in the mid pack as well, so it could be that we've got two gaggles of cars that are going to kind of form here. Now if we just have a wee time to reflect on how things did, give us a comment, let me know how you think some of the drivers are going to do tonight. If you've got any predictions what the podium's going to be, that'd be great. Also, make sure you give us a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's just have a wee look here. Now, looking at the map there on track, we'll go round the track one corner at a time, and if we hit corner 1, you tend to find that if you maybe drop down to second gear here, with the Porsche Cup, you've always got to keep a little bit of throttle on your car, so what happens is the stability of the car is held better, so even like 5% throttle. I've tried driving them myself, and when you try and coast the corners, it's quite a difficult task, so keeping that wee bit of throttle on there. So hitting turn 1, which is called Verrières, exiting turn 2, you've then got a kind of meandering straight. Now when it comes to turn 3, you've really got to drop down as well into about second gear, pulling your nose in, and that corner is called Hotel. Then you've got your very twisty kind of like exit to sector 1, leading down onto the Maestro Straight. Obviously, in other motorsports, that Maestro Straight is broken. Alright, okay. Aspect's only been with FRL for about a month. Excellent. It's good to see that you're getting involved with the likes of the streams and the racing as well, Aspect. That's great. On the Maestro Straight, it normally just goes right up till it comes to scenes, which is turn 10. But if you think of other types of motorsport, they also use turns 8 and 9, which is the Montreal chicane. It adds a little bit of a kind of break to that stretch, but on here your car will top out. It will go its fastest if you can get that exit at turn 7 onto the Maestro straight really well. By the end of the straight it'll have maxed out. It's teetering on its top end speed, but it's the challenge with most cars is then being able to take that fast right hander, and in a Porsche Cup it's extremely difficult, so you need to have the car very well balanced. Coming round turn 11, Beset, and then Bendor at 12. Garlaban is like a kind of sweeping right hander that takes you into the final two corners, which is Lac turn 14 and then Pont turn 15, which is a very tight hairpin. And the best thing to do for that is maybe point your car in, going down to first gear, but in these Porsche Cup cars I'm not sure that's going to kind of let fly, so if you stay in second gear it's maybe going to give you that better traction and onto the home straight. So most laps are completed in sub 2 minutes in this particular type of car. Some of the faster guys are doing it in 58 mid. I know Will Friedman is probably, with his comment earlier on, saying
30 seconds.
he's a bit rusty. So if that's him rusty, I'm very frightened to see how it goes. But the way this race format
20 seconds.
unfolds is 10-minute quali and then a 30-minute sprint. No pit stops, no nothing. Fuel your car, make sure you've tweaked it as best you can.
Seconds.
We've got 10 seconds to go, and then that starts our formation lap. Now the formation lap's most likely unguided, which will allow the guys at the front to dictate the speed of the formation lap, and that way they can get their tyres up to spec. Gamer Dad's very good at doing this, so he'll take off. A couple of wee wiggles here and there. And we'll get that map out the road for you. Nice and neat round the corners, giving their cars a wee wobble here and there. I tend to find just gently holding the brakes down and accelerating in first or second gear helps heat the brakes up, and that transfers heat to the tyres, so that the kind of PSIs in the tyres then kind of comes up and brings your tyres to its optimum status, which is around about between 27 and 27.8. Correct me if I'm wrong, you can put it in the comments, but it's around about that. So Aspect in the chat saying, I've only been with FRL for about a month and a half now, but I've seen Butler finishing in third quite a few times, and Will has to be from Mars something. So that's his predictions. Okay, so you think Will's going to be in the top 3, Butler's going to be in the top 3, and who else? Hey Chris, hope you enjoy this race, and everyone watching, wishing you all the best. Going to be an entertaining race for sure. Thanks very much for that, Phil Sayers. It definitely is. We've got some of the most elite aliens that have been taking part on this particular type of race. Gamer Dad, I would say, is up there. Will Friedman's definitely up there. He's a recognised elite alien on the PlayStation side. So he has been on holiday, so 10 days away from the computer. So Will P1, Gamer Dad P2, and Butler P3. Okay, that sounds like, I wouldn't say you're going to be far off that, but again, these cars, if you don't respect them, if you don't have them set up right, I've experienced it myself. I was part of this league, but I've pulled out myself, so that's why I'm happy to now do comms for this and Thursday late night. Like I say, myself and Neil, we do 2 beards, 1 comms. So if you ever need a bit of entertainment, sometimes we talk about racing when we're in there together. We do, sorta. But most of the time we just talk absolute mince, just to keep you entertained. But what we will be hopefully expecting, and hopefully this does actually happen, now that we're coming round onto the home straight, is have a nice, perfect, ideal start. So we'll go to the helicam to see if we can get all cars in the view, in the shot. We're currently on Gamer Dad. And we are now a go. So if we stay on helicam, and then we can see that 3 guys at the back have dropped back. Gamerdad himself has put himself in the position where he's going to get into turn 1 ahead. There's just been a touch by one of the cars there, so 3rd and 4th had a wee touch, but Gamerdad's had the opportunity to take off, and that gives him, by the looks of it, maybe a second gap at the start. Will Friedman, he's going to take maybe 1 or 2 laps to settle in with these tyres. Linkler, rightfully in 3rd place, he had quite a good start. Now the game's going to do its usual thing where it has a little bit of a kind of mess around, so you can't really do anything. That's us, now back on track. So Gamerdad, yep, he's got that just under a second ahead of Will Friedman, going into the back straight. Hendricks, Devilson, Tro, Big Time Dave, and then Schiffler at the back. So there must have been contact, like as you've seen in the kind of background there. That contact itself has obviously caused Schiffler to fall to the back, but there's still 28 minutes left to go in the race. Anything could happen. So Gamerdad and Will Friedman managed to stabilise their cars going round the fast sector, as do all other cars. I wonder how Big Time Dave and Schiffler are doing. He's maybe sporting a slight amount of damage. Now a bit of damage on these cars can cause anything to happen, so you've kind of got to be on your toes. But I'm interested to see how this is going to unfold, because Gamerdad is extremely good at defending, very well versed on how these tracks are panned out. And then we've got a contact at the back there again, which is nearly taken out all of the pack. And that looked like Devilson got a wee bit of a touch on the back there. Sorry, Hendricks got a bit of a touch on there by Devilson himself. So obviously just a little bit too eager to get round that first sector, but we've got 2 cars wide here. And we've got 5 cars pretty much going to offer as much of an entertainment value as we can for everyone to watch. Butler Racing is happily keeping himself in 3rd place. So we've got Hendricks, Devilson, Linkler, Hendricks and Devilson, and Big Time Dave and Tro all kind of keeping us entertained here. It's maybe going to spread out. Yeah, that's the the uncanny thing about this type of Porsche. So it's got the same capabilities for kind of like straight line speed, etc., and kind of cornering ability as a GT3 Porsche. However, it's not necessarily as quick, and it has absolutely no traction control whatsoever. So I take my hat off to anyone that can take this car and put it round any track, let alone Paul Ricard, which has got some seriously extremely fast corners. So Butler Racing's having a wee lonely race himself. Gamerdad and Will Friedman, they've pretty much not budged. They are 1 second apart. Will Friedman just needs to get him in the braking zones. Gamerdad himself has got a very, very good setup. He uses a Thrustmaster setup, and he's got regulatable brakes, which means he can brake that little bit later. And I've spent a lot of time on track with Gamerdad. He's really, really good at following you. He's also very good at leaving you for dust, especially under the braking zone. He can brake far later than most drivers. And it looks like he's keeping Will Friedman, so what, with 2 laps in and he's keeping Will Friedman at bay. Devilson himself in 4th place, Linkler in 5th. Hendricks is closely following behind, and then we've got Big Time Dave and Tro. They're going to have a little bit of a battle, and I think Schiffler himself, Chris, is sporting some kind of damage because he's now fell 9 seconds back. But Big Time Dave, for me, recently has been one of the most improved and consistent drivers on FRL. We do a podcast every Wednesday night, and he got the Alien of the Week vote just because recently he's been consistent, he's been doing things, he's been getting involved in pretty much every race known to man nor beast. And the good thing about Big Time Dave, the entertainment value, he's always going to give you a fight, he's always going to be there. It doesn't matter where he is on the track, he never quits. It's always a very, very good thing to see. So Tro's only 3/10 behind him. He's going to be putting him through his paces. So having two grassroots drivers racing against each other, this is going to be extremely clean. And grassroots were all about clean racing as much as we possibly can, and determination. Big Time Dave takes a wider line and comes in, cuts that corner nicely and defends nicely as well. So he's making his Porsche as wide as he possibly can. He's positioning it and parking it on the apex, which is going to make it very difficult for Tro to try and find any way through. And then coming into the final corner, he's in the middle of the track, comes in nice and tight, and then runs out onto the exit curb there, into the home straight. Tro might be able to, when they get up to speed, use this draft, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him to make any kind of move. He's maybe going to show him his nose. Oh, and he's done him under braking, which is an absolutely fantastic move by Tro. Tro himself is an extremely well versed driver as well. He does get some really good results, has done in most of the races that he gets involved in. But Big Time Dave allowed him to give that space there, so he's done him in the braking zone, and maybe Big Time Dave never realised that he could do that. That's why he's lost it. So he managed to bring about 3 or 4 car lengths into that corner there, bring up the side of him, and Big Time Dave, being the clean driver that he is, has afforded them the space to come through nice and clean. So if we move on to Linkler and Devilson, these two are now going to have some kind of battle. Gamer Dad, I'll have a quick glance. He's still keeping Will Friedman at bay, but he's not going anywhere at all. Will Friedman will keep Gamer Dad on his toes for the full 30 minutes. And it's do or die. It's who can keep that car on track for the longest. But the closest battle going on right now, by 50, less than 51 thousandths, is Linkler and Devilson. These guys are going to be giving each other so much pressure. Devilson himself, he's doing the same thing as Big Time Dave did. He's sticking that car exactly where it needs to be, and that's basically going to force Linkler to perhaps even try and take a different driving line, a different braking zone. He's having to do it here. I think if you take your car wide here and then tuck it in, both cars have just did the exact same thing. Can Hendricks catch up? So Devilson and Linkler are going to be battling away, which causes you, unfortunately, to lose small amounts of time over the course of laps, and that gives the cars behind the opportunity to move up and take advantage of his battling. But Tro is now, I think he was being held up by Big Time Dave, because he's now kind of disappeared. He's only, what, 1 lap beyond him there. Oh, sorry, it's only been 1 lap since he made that move, and he's already 2.5 seconds ahead. And Schiffler has definitely now lost another 9 seconds against the pack, so he doesn't want to pit. There's no pit stops planned in this race. As you can see here, there's a green tab at the end of the side of all the numbers. If there was a pit strategy to be enforced, that usually has a number, either a 1 or a 2, or how many pits that you need to do. With this particular race, it's literally 10-minute quali, set your car up right, 30-minute sprint. So Gamer Dad is still out on the lead. He's pulled, he's just lost his comms curse, as they call it. He's just lost his back end there, allowing Will Friedman to close that gap. And I don't know what's going on here, but maybe Gamer Dad's tyres aren't holding out very well. He's had 2 tiny wee wobbles here. Hi Evan, how we doing? Thanks for popping in. We've got quite an interesting race unfolding here. We've got Gamer Dad and Will Friedman that are bumper to bumper, and have been since the very start of the race. We're just coming into the very tail end of the first, the 5th lap, and Gamer Dad's was forced slightly wide there, but he didn't make a mistake. He's used that to his advantage, brought his car round, got on the throttle earlier than Will Friedman because Will Friedman had to come in tight, and that's gave Gamerdad the ability to come out, hold off, and he's put it back to 2/10, keeping himself ahead of Will Friedman. So Will Friedman teetered on the aspect of making a move there, but Will Friedman is one of the cleanest and most rapid drivers in the league. He will definitely cause you to make a mistake, but then Gamerdad doesn't make mistakes, or very rarely does. I think I've seen him making about 3 or 4 mistakes in the full time that I've actually raced with him over the last 2 odd years, 2 years, 6 months. So this will be very, very interesting to watch indeed. So the rest of the field just seem to be kind of like spreading out nicely. If they just don't make any mistakes, if they just take it easy, the cars and trust me when I say this, if you take it easy and you're consistent in this car, it always bodes well. The cars behind you, they're going to have to push, so it's them. If you stay consistent, the car behind's got to push the car to its absolute maximum. And we've just had a wee drift round that corner of the Butler there. They absolutely loved that because that was a nice catch. But Will Friedman is still hot on Gamerdad's tail. He's got 3/10 behind him. We're just coming into the second last and last corners again. But Gamerdad's parked his car nicely on the apex. He's positioned himself so that he can take that wider line. And both cars have just done the same line. Will Friedman slightly wider. I think he's done that deliberately to try and maybe get some sort of move on him, but Gamerdad himself, he just powers on through. Who qualified in pole? I'll give you 2 guesses, Evan, who qualified on pole. You might only need 1 though. So your first guess, put it in the comment and I'll tell you if you were correct. Oh, let's just get my phone plugged in here. Oh no, I can't. I'm sure I'll last. Mr. Bulldog Friedman, so that's 1 guess gone. You'd be very, very surprised to hear that Gamerdad himself yeah, once he gets the rust off, well, he's got absolutely 0 rust on that shiny gold car. But Gamerdad put it in pole this evening and he beat Will Friedman by a couple of tenths. So Will Friedman did say when he was getting his excuses in early, and he's nearly just touched Gamerdad there, by the way, just so that you know. He was getting his excuses in before, saying that he's a bit rusty, he's not been near the game in what, 10 days? Excuses. We'll go for a little bit different view this time. This just goes to show you, sweeping camera view, exactly how close Will Friedman can get. That's us coming round onto the home straight again, and Will Friedman is right on Gamerdad's bumper. Now Gamerdad is allowed to make 1 move, which he's done there, and then he's allowed to move back over again to get himself positioned for the corner, and Will Friedman's trying to show him his nose, trying to make him make a mistake, but it's Gamerdad we're talking about here. To make a mistake, oh, and he's just absolutely sent it in that. Wow. Now I wonder if we could go back and have a wee look at that replay. That was an absolutely magnificent send, and Gamerdad had absolutely no answer for it whatsoever. But it's Will Friedman we're talking about here. He's perhaps been setting that up for about maybe 2 laps, because he tends to come back and get him in sector 1. And this is where Will Friedman himself will maybe take off. He's already 8/10 ahead. Yeah, he absolutely sent it. That was fantastic. If we go back and have a look at the replay. let's see from his point of view how he did that. He's coming up, he's showed him the nose. Gamerdad's positioned his car perfect. He knew Will Friedman himself would do that, but Gamerdad's back end kinda slightly lost it, I think, there. And Will Friedman's cat-like reflexes and reactions allowed him to slightly stay off the throttle. But Gamerdad's back end kind of tank slapped him, I would say, just out the road ever so slightly, but controllably. He never lost it, but Will Friedman has literally taken the one opportunity that Gamerdad gave him in the last 7 laps, so well done. Well done indeed. So Will Friedman is now a solid 1 second ahead of Gamerdad, but that's not to say that in the next 13 to just under 14 minutes that are left, something can happen with Will Friedman. Highly unlikely. Yeah, definitely Mars. He's been training in Mars. That's where he's been for the last 10 days. He's been on Mars training for this exact moment. So we've got Butler Racing, who's still holding his position in 3rd place, but he has Devilson up his rear. So let's go and have a wee look and see where we stand with that. I'll change that camera angle. Oh, I can't seem to change the camera. What's going on? That's us. So we're on board with Will Friedman just now. We'll go and see what things look like for Devilson against Butler. Butler is protecting that fast right-hander. That's okay, Briz, that's cool. It's been quite an exciting race actually. You've just missed probably one of the most cleanest sends of the century by Will Friedman on Gamerdad to take the lead 7 laps in. So Gamerdad made 0 mistakes and Will Friedman was set up, and I think with Devilson and Butler racing here, we're going to see some really, that looks to me like Devilson himself is actually using a control pad. Now, hat off to him, because he's always there or thereabouts in the top 10. I know there's only 9 drivers here, but in most races I've seen him involved in, he's always in the top 10, top 6. He's close on Butler's tail. He's trying to show him the nose. Butler's not going to make that mistake. He's closing off the apex. He's parking his car there. He's positioning that perfect. Devilson's trying to get the cut back on him. He's having to come off his throttle there, only because Butler knows what he's doing. He's positioned his car perfect, so to keep it in the racing ethics of being clean, Devilson had to come off his throttle there. It does look quite erratic in his steering, but this is, again, I'll just deliberate and tell you that Devilson races the game on a control pad, whereas all other 8 drivers on this track, I would say, are using steering wheel. So Schiffler, he's right at the back having what looks like an absolute stormer of a race. Hendricks himself, he's thrown that car round. Oh, he's just kind of lost control there. That's affording Big Time Dave the opportunity to take off and block that fast straight, get some ground on him. Pro, again, he's just kind of driving in no man's land. The track itself is completely spread, so like I say, if you just keep it consistent, keep the car on track, it's the guy behind you that's got to make that, that's got to force his car into doing something that's not necessarily ready to do. And that's Devilson trying to do the move on Butler racing on the outside there, just come through the final sector. This is coming into the last 2 corners again. Butler parks that car nicely, middle of the track, cuts his nose in, and he'll take off. Oh, and Devilson himself had that car going slightly sideways there. That must have been exciting. Gamerdad himself, he's lost another 9/10 against Will Friedman, but that's to be expected, because when Will Friedman's got clean air ahead of him, he tends to fill that clean air faster than most can, so he's taken off. He's pushing it 2 seconds. Just throwing the car in, coming round into the fast section of the track. This is where the car will top out. But if you see that there, Gamerdad, he's short shifted up into a kind of higher gear, giving him that better traction coming out the corner, and that's the key. That's the best way to keep that car on track. Linkler has managed to catch up on Devilson and Butler when they're having those battles, so this is going to be interesting what unfolds over the next 4 laps, maybe 5 laps if we've got 5 laps left in the race. So this kind of battle here might unfold quite interestingly. So if you're within 1 point, I'm going to say, to be safe, again correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, 1.2 seconds within the car ahead for you to be in their slipstream. Anything out with that's kind of dirty air, and it can have an effect on your car's ability to handle. But down that fast straight there, the air's getting cut with the car in front, you're in its wake. If you're within 1.2 seconds of that, you can take advantage of a little bit of drafting, allowing your car to speed up and catch. But Linkler's done an absolutely fantastic job to move up on Devilson and Butler, but the thing is, Butler's managing to defend Devilson off quite nicely. He's putting his car exactly where it needs to be. Is Linkler going to be able to put a little bit of a fray in the mix to see if he can force the two of them into making an error? So he's put that round the final corner nicely, but they're kind of took off. Devilson's now in a sandwich between the two of them, so he's going to be trying to make moves on Butler, but in the same token he's got Linkler in his rear mirror. I mean, Linkler's got the capabilities of moving up on him, so Devilson's going to be maybe braking out with his normal braking zone there, which is going to give Linkler the opportunity to move up on him. And as you can see from Linkler's point of view there, Butler Racing is parking that car perfectly on the apex, cutting across track. He's not braking and oh, Butler's just made a mistake. Butler's cut off track. Is it going to cutting off track there? That's not necessarily the right thing to do. He's just had a little bit of a door bang, so what he's done is he's cut the track and then he's forcing errors on Devilson. But Linkler himself, now Devilson is going to take full advantage of this, so Linkler's going to take full advantage of him to these two battling, which means Butler Racing and Devilson, oh that's absolutely terrible. Butler has come across the front of him there, cutting off the actual line that Linkler was trying to take. And I'm unsure if Butler himself is able to continue racing. If his car will have damage, Linkler's car will have damage, so that they're going to find it very difficult for the next 6 minutes to keep that car on track. And Devilson, he has managed to, as clean as possible, get himself into 3rd place. So that all stemmed back from the entrance to the fast straight at the back, where Butler cut the corner, and as he's cut the corner, he's come back onto the track in an unsafe manner, and then that's caused a couple of door bangs between him and Devilson going up the straight. And then Linkler was using that to his advantage, and he's managed to kind of get himself in front of Butler, but not without sustaining quite what looked like hefty damage, because going at that speed and hitting the wall, Linkler's car looked like it almost turned over, so that's going to have caused a lot of damage to his car indeed. Butler has now fell back, he's went into the pits, so he's perhaps gave up, or he's forced into the pits by his pit crew to do the repairs in his car. That's fine, we'll come back on that later. But Gamerdad is trying his hardest, but Will Friedman over the course of the last couple of laps has now increased that gap by a further 8 or 9 tenths. So all Gamerdad can do here is just keep himself nice and consistent, nice and easy. It's very, very difficult to even think that you're going to then take that space back off of Will Friedman. He's in first place, he's got a taste for it, he's back off his 10-day holiday. I know he's messed up your podium predictions. I hope you didn't put any bets on some kind of betting facility for this, like FRL bet or something. But yes, Will Friedman is in the lead with Gamerdad, and Butler is what I think is perhaps retired to the pits. I know Linkler was trying to take full advantage of that move, the battle between Divilson and Butler. Controversially so. No, FRL bet is definitely something that would need to be completely and utterly 1,000,000,000% looked at by Mr. James himself, but that's another sword head that we can talk about another day. So Tro himself is actually catching Linkler, and the reason he is because Linkler has probably sustained a heavy amount of damage. So he's going to need to defend like nothing else for the next 2 laps. Maybe 3, no, there's going to be 2 laps. Will Friedman himself, he's in the back straight, he's going to come over the line. Oh, we might get another 2 laps out of it actually. So Tro has potentially got an opportunity to take advantage. There we go. Linkler himself is struggling to keep that car straight, and it's only because of the outcome of that really bad crash. So let's get to a different camera view, shall we? I can't see. Ah, there we go. So let's see. Oh, there's that looks like Linkler that's just spun off. These camera views, I'm very sorry guys if you're watching. I'm having a bit of a shocker with the camera views. This is a good view. A replay of the crash. We can get a replay of the crash very quickly now. Where is Linkler? There is there. No, we can't. We've lost it. It's gone beyond it, I'm afraid. Sorry, pal. We're very limited when it comes to the PlayStation for things like that, so what we do have is, with our Two Beards One comms, we've got a setup where the races, the comms are actually streamed using a capture card, and oh, it looks like Hendricks has slowed right down. I don't know what's going on there. Is he maybe running out of fuel and he's had to slow his car down to get to the end of the race? But it's done using a capture card, which is going to give I think Gamerdad's lost it, he's now 6 seconds behind. With the capture cards we can use that to do things like capture replays and then go look back at it nice and easy, because it's done on the PC. So we're missing that this evening. So Neil had to pull out his prior engagements, so tonight's comms were on me. So I'm just using PlayStation. It's got a very limited kind of comms range, especially when it comes to replays. But hey ho, we work with what we've got. Tro, he's now made that pass on Linkler because Linkler lost it. So Linkler himself, is going to be able to hold off Big Time Dave? Does Big Time Dave get enough time? I don't think he does. No, the race is just about to finish. Will Friedman himself is just coming over the line, and he's going to produce one more lap.
Right, man, neither is on the final lap.
So final lap. So we'll go into the nice helicopter view. This one seems to not be broken. The other sweeping camera view seems to be broken. But what's happening in the chat? Yeah, poor Linkler and OTK. Replay. That's alright, friend. Just rewatch the stream. Yeah, rewatch the stream because I was on that instant as it unfolded. So now we've got our driver of the day, which is something that we obviously post up at the end of every single race. I will give my driver of the day, and I'll give my driver of the day just at the end of the race. We'll make sure we see Will Friedman going over the line though. He's got Gamerdad who's gained half a second on him. I don't think he's going to be able to do enough unless Will Friedman himself, comms curse, etc. and all that. I don't want to kind of jinx him, but all he has to do is keep it on track. He doesn't need to push hard. Gamerdad's got he's got 5 seconds on Gamerdad, so he can just bring another race home. He's just off of having a holiday. He's been away from the console and all things FRL for 10 days. So he's came back, and the first thing he does is picks up a win by the looks of it. So he's just coming round. Final section of the track. He's coming into the second last turn and then into the sharp hairpin to take home a 16 lap victory. Half of that race I would say was behind Gamerdad, maybe give or take 7 laps, and the remainder had fresh air in front of him, so he's now just come home in first place. Gamerdad very quickly followed behind. He'll be disappointed, but at the same token, he's got a second place, and with Will Friedman on the track, it's very difficult to get anything else other than that. We now have another Triple X driver coming home in third, so rounding off the podium, and that's an absolutely stellar drive. Now, my driver of the day, he's going to deliberately throw that car spinning just as in celebration for his podium win, and that was absolutely beautiful. Wow. Now, Devilson, some of the guys in here are saying there's nothing you can't do in a car. I'll back that. You have just produced the most beautiful 360 spin I've ever seen at full pace. But my driver of the day goes to Tro. Tro went from near the back of the track and he's finished in 4th place, and what he's done is he's taken full advantage of some of the mishaps that have happened throughout the race. So he has made some really good inroads into his position on the league table as well. But my driver of the day is going to Tro because of that. He's came from the back and finished in 4th. A special mention to Will Friedman though. I think we've got to mention that he's been away from the driving and console for 10 days, and he comes back and the first thing he does is produce a win. But that's our finishing positions there. Will Friedman in first place with Gamerdad in second, Devil's Son in third, Tro 246 in fourth, Linkler in fifth, Big Time Dave, fantastic run from himself, sticking it out, keeping it consistent in sixth, Butler Racing in seventh. He must have had that damage repaired and come back out on track. And Hendricks finishes in 8th with C. Schiffler at the rear with 9th. Now, C. Schiffler took a bit of damage right at the start of the race, and I think that's completely hindered his ability to keep any pace. And over the course of the 15 laps, he's fell, what's that, about 1 minute, 1 lap plus 40 seconds on top behind the race leader. So well done, and that rounds off our FRL PS4 Porsche Cup Round 5 race at Paul Ricard. We'll not do any post-race interviews today. We normally do a wee post-race interview and drag some poor unfortunate driver into our Google Meet with myself and Neil, but we don't have that today. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure that next Thursday we have, let's just go and have a wee look and see what we have for next Thursday. So next Thursday's race is going to be at, and I think before I even open my mouth, I'll just go and check the calendar. will be at Oulton Park. Now, Oulton Park is going to be a very, very intense and special race in any car, especially a Porsche Cup. It's meandering, it's got up and down, it's got tight corners, it's got very, very little overtaking space, it's got an extremely, extremely technical Sector 1, Sector 2, and Sector 3 is insane. So tune in next Sunday. It's going to be really, really good. I'm sure Gamer Dad and Will Friedman will get on and do some practice, make sure the cars are dialed in. He's very good at doing that. He's very good at handing out that setup as well for people to have a go at it. So that's always very good. So watch out for that in the Discord. So next Thursday is going to be the GT4 late night, which me and Neil should be back on track with Two Beards One Comms, and that starts at about 10 to 11, and then next Sunday at Oulton Park for the Porsche Cup Round 6. And again, that's going to be me and Neil. Hopefully, Two Beards One Comms back on track. Our ugly mushies on the screen. You get to see what we're talking about. We tend to necessarily talk a wee bit about racing, but we tend to keep you entertained for the 40 odd minutes that we're on the stream for. So thank you very much to everyone who came in, everyone who took their time to come on, give us a wee comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll say this has been One Beard, One Comms. Good night, and I will stop my broadcast. Bye, guys.